Anna to throw some light on the play. The next item, the play Christmas Carol, based upon a story written by Charles Dickens.
जला दो दिए जिंदगी के लिए, तुम जला दो दिए जिंदगी के लिए, आसमां फिर जमीन पर उतर आएगा, रोशनी इस कदर फैल जाएगी यहाँ, रोशनी इस कदर फैल जाएगी यहाँ, एक दिन यह जहाँ भी चमक जाएगा, एक दिन ये जहाँ भी चमक जाएगा। इन्हीं पंक्तियों के साथ आइए बढ़ते हैं अपनी अगली प्रस्तुति की ओर, अ क्रिसमस कैरल। यह अंग्रेजी साहित्य के सबसे प्रसिद्ध उपन्यासकार चार्ल्स डिकेंस के उपन्यास अ क्रिसमस कैरल का नाट्य रूपांकन है। यह कहानी आधारित है एक निहायत कंजूस व रूखे स्वभाव के व्यक्ति अबेंजर स्क्रूज की जीवन शैली पर। क्रिसमस एक ऐसा पर्व जो दयालुता, दूसरों के प्रति प्रेम, कृपा, उदारता, दान, पुण्य के लिए विश्व भर में मनाया जाता है। लेकिन इस नाटक का मुख्य पात्र अबेंजर स्क्रूज इसके विपरीत है। उसे ना तो क्रिसमस मनाने में कोई दिलचस्पी है और ना ही वह किसी प्रकार के दान पुण्य में विश्वास रखता है। सन 1844 में क्रिसमस से एक दिन पूर्व अबेंजर स्क्रूज के साथी जैकब मार्ले, जिसका देहांत 7 वर्ष पूर्व हो गया था, कांप भूत आकर अबेंजर स्क्रूज को समझाने का प्रयास करता है और चेतावनी देता है कि यदि उसने अपने आप को नहीं सुधारा तो भविष्य में उसे पछताना पड़ेगा। वह अबेंजर को बताता है कि आज रात उससे मिलने 3 भूत आएंगे जो उसे उसके भूतकाल, वर्तमान काल व भविष्यवाद काल की कुछ झलकियों के माध्यम से समझाने की कोशिश करेंगे और उसके बाद भी यदि उसने अपने सामाजिक कर्तव्यों का पालन नहीं किया तो उसे भविष्य में बुरे परिणामों के लिए तैयार रहना होगा। अंत में यह कहानी एक लोभी व्यक्ति में परिवर्तन और साइज के साथ समाप्त होती है। नाउ आई हैंड ओवर द माइक टू द नरेटर ऑफ द प्ले, मिस दीप्ति शर्मा।
The Christmas Carol is the dramatization of a play of Charles Dickens, a globally renowned dramatist whose writings mostly depicted the prevalent social problems of his time. Christmas is a festival for merrymaking, enjoying, and for doing charity. The play elaborates on the festive spirit. However, the main character of the play, Ebenezer Scrooge, is a misfit in this happy and cheerful atmosphere. He is stingy, mean, and miserly person who neither respects the spirit of the festival nor does he believe in generosity. He is ever busy in making money. He is not ready to part with money for charity or for buying Christmas presents. To him, Christmas is nothing but a humbug. He is visited by the ghost of his business partner, Mr. Marley, who warns him about his lifestyle. He asks him to mend his ways, failing which he could also suffer like him, even after death. Scrooge is then visited by the 3 ghosts, the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future. Their visit takes Scrooge to his past, his present, and future, the life that is still to come. We will now transport you to the opening scene of the play. It's Christmas Eve in December 1844.
Around here. Understand me? No singing. No need to be Shiva That old Scrooge.
Yes, that is old Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge. It is the afternoon before Christmas Day. Despite the bitterly cold weather, all over London is in a festive mood, but there is no happy expression on Ebenezer Scrooge's lined face as he closes the front door of his warehouse and returns to his office. He throws a glowering look at his clerk, Bob Cratchit, satisfied that the poor wretch is hard at work. Scrooge adjusts his spectacles, then without warning,
God save you.
Bah, humbug.
Christmas? A hunger? Surely you don't mean that, uncle.
Merry Christmas indeed. What right you have to be merry? You are poor enough.
What did I do to be dismal? You are rich enough.
What Christmas time to you? But paying bills without money? You keep your Christmas own way and let it be in mine.
I came here to ask you to spend your Christmas time with second me.
No.
But I want nothing from you other than your company. Won't you change your mind and have a dinner with us?
Good afternoon, Fred.
A Merry Christmas
Good afternoon.
and a Happy New Year.
Humbug. What is it, Cratchit?
But there is a gentleman to see you.
What about Cratchit?
He insisted, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Have I pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley? Mr. Marley, my former business partner. He died 7 years ago, this very night. Then I have no doubt. His generosity is well represented by his surviving partner. So what do you want? At this festive season, Mr. Scrooge, we try to make some flat provisions for the poor and destitute. Many thousands are in want of common necessities. Are there no prisons? Oh, plenty of prisons. And the workhouses? Are they still in operation? I wish I could say they were not. How much shall I put it down for Mr. Scrooge? Nothing. Nothing? Exactly. Let these deserving people of yours go to the establishments that I have mentioned. Most of them would rather die than do that. Let them do that and help decrease the surplus population. I am busy. Good afternoon to you. Very good, Mr. Scrooge. A very Merry Christmas to you. Charity. Humbug. What is it, Cratchit? You were wondering if you could go home. Yeah, go on. You won't all the day tomorrow, I suppose. But be here all the earlier next day. Understand?
Yes, sir. Merry Christmas.
Humbug.
a few minutes later, Scrooge leaves his warehouse and makes his way to his melancholy chamber, a gloomy suite of rooms. Ebenezer Scrooge retires for the night. The minutes tick away. Scrooge sleeps uneasily, tossing from side to side. Suddenly, he awakes with a start. Walking towards him and dragging a heavy chain is a grey, dim figure of a man in socks at the foot of the bed.
Who are you? What do you want from me? Who are you? Ask me who I was. You are? Yes, in life I was your partner, Jacob Marley. But it can't be so. You're dead. You don't believe in me? No. You are nothing but an undigested bit of meat, a crumb of cheese. You are wrong, Ebenezer. I am the host of Jacob Marley. Why do you come to me? It's quite of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide. And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. No, I don't believe it. It's then doomed to wander through the world. You are changed, Jacob. Tell me why. I wear the chain I created in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. I bought it of my own free will. Is it pattern strange to you? I don't understand. This chain of yours is as heavy as the one you are now creating. You talk strangely, Jacob. For 7 years I have been dead, traveling the whole world. No rest, no peace, only remorse. But you are always sure, Jacob. I? To shoot? A good man of business. Business? Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance were all my business. But I hated none of them. Instead, I thought only of money. And what is wrong with making money? That is your fault, Ebenezer, as it was mine. That is why I am here tonight. That is a part of my punishment. I am here to warn you. To help you escape my miserable fate. You have one chance left. Tell me, how the chance will come to me? My time draws near. I must go. Tonight, you will be haunted by thrills. Couldn't I take them all at once? No, and hate them when they appear. Remember, it's your last chance to escape my miserable fate.
As Ebenezer stares in the frightened silence, the red-light figure of his deceased partner dissolves into space. Scrooge drops off his sleep. 12 o'clock comes. Time passes him. The curtains of Scrooge's room are drawn aside, but by no visible hand. There by the bed stands an unearthly visitor, a strange figure like a child. Its hair is white, and in its hand it holds a sprig of fresh green holly. Ebenezer stares and then speaks.
Are you the spirit whose coming was told you by Jacob Marley?
Yes, I am.
Who? And what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past.
No, your past. Now rise and walk with me.
But where?
Out through the window.
But we are three souls on the ground, and I'm only a mortal.
Bear with the touch of my heart upon your heart, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
What are we to do?
I'm going to help you, lady. Come, walk with me. Into the night, into the past.
Tell me, the ghost of Christmas past, where are we?
Look down, Ebenezer, and remember that.
Why? Why, of course. The river, the meadows, and there is my old school. I went there as a lad. But there is no one about.
It's Christmas holiday. Let us look into the study hall.
Empty, except for a young boy sitting at a desk. Look, he's crying. Poor chap, no place to go at Christmas. Now he's looking up.
Do you recognize him?
Why,
What is his name?
Ebenezer Scrooge? I wish, but it's too late now.
What's the matter?
Nothing. There were some boys singing Christmas carols outside my warehouse door yesterday afternoon. I drove them away.
Let us see another Christmas. It's a year, maybe another Christmas.
And again, there is a school.
That boy standing in the driveway, facing up and down.
It is I.
And what do you see?
A coach is coming up the driveway. Now it has stopped. A little girl gets out. Look, she's hugging me. It's Fen, my sister.
Your sister was a delicate creature. Kind, big-hearted.
So she was. She died comparatively young.
She left one child behind her.
Yes, Fred, my nephew.
He was going to wish you a Merry Christmas yesterday.
Yes, he did so. Please, take me back.
Not yet. There is one more shadow.
No more. I do not wish to see it.
You must. The years have passed now. In this house below, look. There sits a young girl, a beautiful girl.
It's Pele?
Next to her, she just married your bride. Only now, your face begins to show the signs of avarice. There is a greedy, restless motion in your eyes. Listen to what she is saying to you.
Lily.